Good morning. Just realised it's very dark. Very, very dark. It is dark here today. Rainy, grey and dark. But my screen seems especially dark today. Oh well. I have been thinking about time a lot recently, and our relationship to time, and actually how really conflicted we are or are becoming about time and how we spend it. And I even find the language very interesting because we very much regard time as a commodity, a currency, even. We talk about spending time. And that's not without value. And I'm not really overly hung up on that as long as we're aware of when it serves us and when it doesn't serve us. And the confliction for me comes in, often we seem to be in a state where we are attaching the value that we want from to the amount of time spent. So, for example, my son recently was suffering from really bad back pain, and it sort of came and went, but it wasn't really going. And I want to encourage him, because he's doing a very physical job at the moment, to take care of himself, obviously. And I was wanting him to start building his own team or network of health providers and not just rely on his mum, basically. So anyway, cut a long story short, he decided to go to the chiropractic practitioner that I attend. And he was a little bit out of sorts when I went to collect him, because he said, well, I was only in there 10, 15 minutes. I can't believe that cost whatever it did. And he was definitely going down the route of, this doesn't feel like value for money. And then 24 hours later or 36 hours later, he was grown up enough to come to me and say, do you know what? Actually, that was worth every penny, because I don't feel that discomfort. I don't have any of that back pain anymore. And I kind of realised that he's really good at what he does, this chiropractic, and he doesn't need to spend all that time. He spent all the time that was needed to get the results that that my son needed. So that's one example. And we can get very hung up, I think, on thinking that if somebody hasn't spent time, or we haven't spent time, or we haven't filled our time, then somehow we're not valuable. Somehow they aren't valuable. What they're offering isn't valuable. And yet all around us, we're encouraged to not spend time, to do that constant scrolling. It was very interesting to me when I saw that maybe you know this. I saw that the attention spans, the recognised attention span of a 2-year-old is actually 4 to 6 minutes. And it increases as we go through the ages. And, when we get to 4, it's 8 to 12 minutes. 9 to 10-year-olds have a 20 to 30 minute attention span. And it goes right on to 16 plus when it goes up to 32 to 50 plus minutes. And yet, the social media expectations for content are 15 seconds and maybe 30 seconds, possibly up to 60 seconds for more educational material, whatever that is, educational material. And we're told, and we believe, if we're not careful, that if we're not able to make content that delivers value within that time, then we've somehow failed, that we're not, it's not going to be acceptable. In fact, it won't even be shown. And that results in us doing that perpetual scrolling, doing that perpetual searching for the thing that really leaps out at us, that really grabs our attention, whatever that is. And that's why the fluffy kittens or the little children doing something immediate or somebody doing something stupid is an instant grab. It's lazy. It's immediate gratification for some part of us. And again, that's not without value if that's what you're seeking. But if you're actually seeking real transformational shifts, expansion, growth, learning, either about yourself or about the world or other people or whatever, invariably you ain't going to get it in that time length. So, and also the results of that constant looking, constant expectation that you've got to have it fast. It's got to be good, it's got to be fast, and it's got to be cheap. Well, guess what? Actually, you can only ever have two of those. That was something I learned in my advertising days very quickly, and it still holds dear. Good, fast, cheap. Pick any two. So I wanted to encourage today the realization that when we are in that habitual thing of thinking that we've got to have instant gratification or instant titillation or instant results, that it doesn't do us any favors and in fact can keep us in a sort of low level state of anxiety, fearfulness, overwhelm, feeling that we never have enough time, that we're adrenally charged. And when all those things are happening, both physiologically and emotionally, we don't think straight. We don't make good decisions. We don't do behaviour that serves us in the long run. So I know everyone bangs on about stop scrolling and, stop being so attached to your phone. It's always worth reminding us of that. So what is your habit around social media? Do you actually follow people that are really delivering good quality content and are worth you investing more than a few seconds in listening to? Now, by and large, that's not going to be on social media, but it is an introduction to a lot of really interesting people. That's why I do it. It's interesting to me that people like Joe Rogan, whatever you think of him, his podcasts are never really shorter than 2 hours. And he has a viewership of, I don't know, it's something like 19 million, something like that. So clearly there is an appetite for longer, more valuable content that requires us to invest our time in that. So why are we investing so much time in platforms that don't encourage that? Why? That just interests me. Could it be that because it does actually keep us in that habitual state of overwhelm and feeling less than, and it feeds any kind of beliefs that are going on for us around needing to tick off that to-do list, needing to constantly feel I've done something valuable. But it's never ending. It's a merry-go-round. And stepping off that will be utterly transformative. It sounds easy. In one way it is. In another way, I understand it isn't. When we form these habits, then we're largely unconscious of them. And actually reaching out for support or guidance in order to be able to break those habits is, again, really worth the investment, really time-wise and financially, because it can completely transform our lives. So that's just some musings from me today on really encouraging as many people as possible to just reevaluate your relationship with time. What do you believe about time? Do you believe that you can control it? Do you believe that you are, excuse me, ultimately in control of how you experience your time? Do you believe that you have all the time in the world? Or do you believe that there's never enough time, that you're time poor? It's the glass half empty, glass half full thing again. You know, the whole lack mentality, excuse me, goes for time as well as financial abundance. When we can change that perspective, and when we know that actually it's our choices and our beliefs that drive our behavior, and that we can actually transform that, nobody else is responsible, nobody else can be blamed for the way that we choose to spend our time. There's that language again. When we do that, it can completely turn around how we feel on a day-to-day basis. And it can stop us getting into overwhelm, getting into anxiety, getting into feeling less than. So, yeah, that's what I wanted to encourage, is maybe a bit of journaling, maybe a little bit of investment in time to really think about, what is my relationship with time? What do I believe about it? How is it serving me? And what can I do to maybe start transforming that so that I can actually lead a life that fills me with joy, beauty, abundance, love, all of those things, appreciation, gratitude. And so that we don't end up like that chicken in the film Chicken Run. It's one of my favourite quotes, where one of the chickens, I can't remember what the character's called, but her life was threatened. I think she was going to have her neck chopped off or something. And she said, "Oh, my whole life flashed before my eyes, and it was really boring." I don't want that for myself, and I don't want that for you. And only we can turn that around. Food for thought. Thanks for watching. Bye.